Hey everybody, it is time for another Game Picker video, and today it is going to be all about the Nintendo Switch. Now, I like the Nintendo Switch, and I think in the next couple of videos I will show more Switch games, but today there is a very specific focus with the games that I am gonna show off. A while ago I started making a list, as usual, of games that I really wanted to add to my Nintendo Switch collection, but these games kind of stood out to me because of a very specific reason that I will go into detail in a couple seconds or minutes. But yeah, they really stood out to me. And also, it's good to know these are not the most expensive Switch games, but yeah, games that I thought like, they are cheap and I will probably enjoy them to some extent. I will probably enjoy them. I think they are fun, but don't expect anything wild though, but I do want to highlight them because I believe they will get a bit more difficult to find like later on for that very specific reason that I will go into detail right now. Because all the games that I'm going to show, just had a normal retail release. They are a bit older. Maybe some of them are newer, but after a while, they started to no longer print these games on card, but they re-released them with those code in a box type versions. So now on the market, you kind of see like the physical version, but you see the code in the box way more often. And also, while trying to search for those games, I kind of noticed that although the prices were low, I didn't see them appear that often on Vinted or even in retail stores. And I feel that because of the code in the box, it might even, might become a bit trickier to find them like later on because, after, searching for those games, I just saw those code in the box type versions in the retail stores. I hope that I explained it well, but all these games currently or had a code in the box release. But before that, they had actually had a physical release. And you know what? I like my physical games. There's one game though, I mentioned like most of these should be rather cheap. And I think the price point is like pretty good based on like the type of experience that they offer. The final game though, it is, I want to say it's like a decent horror game for the Nintendo Switch. But this one is definitely the most difficult to find nowadays and also for a good price. Anyway, I got 5 games here and let's just go over them. And I will try to add like a trailer or something or some gameplay footage so that you can see like how it looks like. And also some of these games, I kind of purchased them also with the intent of like, I will most likely play these on the Switch 2. And these will, so far from what I could gather, will run better on the Switch 2. I saw some comments. Did not do my testing yet. So if it doesn't work out, blame someone else, okay, on the internet, not me. But the first one is Dragon. I really need to read the spine because I always thought like the name was a bit different. But it's Dragon Ball FighterZ. Fighters. It is actually Fighters. I always think it's Fighter C, but it's just Fighters. If you have watched my channel, you do know that I'm very bad at playing fighting games, but that I do want to learn them. Current update about that, still terrible at the fighting games. I keep buying them, try to play them. It doesn't click with me. It doesn't click with me. I am actually considering picking up Street Fighter 6 for the Switch 2, but I'm afraid of picking that up because I might suck at it as well. Help me out. I'm terrible at it. But yeah, I like Dragon Ball. And this game always stood out to me with the visual, just how it looks like. It looks awesome for a fighting game. It is 3 versus 3 if I'm correct, and that already scares me a little bit. But yeah, it was like I was able to get it for like a decent price, around like 15 or so, and that is also the price that I do recommend. Now, apparently, it should load a bit quicker. That was like a big issue on the Switch 1, but on the Switch 2, it loads a bit faster. And also, like the FPS is a bit more steady, or just like a steady, maybe 30 or 60. Like, I don't know. I'm not super technical about that. Mostly don't care. I care, but you know, if it runs well, it runs well. But yeah, this one got like a code in the box release like later. And I do see it here and there still often, like it's quite common. But especially for this price point, it just seemed like a very good game to pick up right now before it might become like quite rare. Now, there's also a PlayStation 4 version. Of course, that one is probably the way to go. Now, I saw some like talks about like a re-release with all the DLC on it, but I don't know if that ever happened or if that is still like in the planning stages, or if they still intend to do that, because that could be like a very cool version. But for 15 euros for a game like this, like I said, I think that is like a very nice price point, and I will definitely get some entertainment from this. And yeah, right now, if you get this from retail, you most likely see the code in the box version. Now the next one is definitely a bit more expensive, but if you wait, you will most likely find like a deal, because the code in the box version is cheaper, and people might think like, oh, I will sell the physical version for that price as well. But the price is like all over the place. And let's just show it. That is actually Star Wars Pinball. Now, I could see this game become more trickier to pick up when I compare it to like a Dragon Ball FighterZ. It's Star Wars Pinball. It is actually a quite extensive like pinball game. Quite a few tables, and there's a lot of to do. Like even like campaign missions. Like when I booted up for the first time, I was actually shocked. Like, oh, this seems actually like a way bigger type of game that I was expecting. I was just expecting like, hey, here's a table, play it, and that's it. But there's more involvement in it. But yeah, when I look for this one, like in the retail stores, see the code on the box, or even don't see that version anymore. And yeah, it feels like it's a bit more uncommon because of the price point. That is definitely all over the place. I have seen it more often for around like 30 or 40 euros. And luckily I was able to get this one for 15, because that is the usual going price for the code and box version. It is the French version though. But yeah, for 15, I'm like, it is what it is. Here you go. It's French. But yeah, there's that's a kind of like the nice thing for like good deals. I can ignore it because there's no manual. Like I would love to read the back of the box, but it is what it is. But yeah, I could see this one becoming a bit more trickier to find, and if you are able to get it for like around like 10 or 15, that would be like super nice, right? Like that's a good deal. Not sure if it's like worth 40. That's up to you to decide that. The following, this is definitely a more common one. It is an English version, but also this is now like in retail, like only a code in box. I should stop saying that because that's the whole point of this video. Anyway, it's Rayman Legends, the definitive edition. I want to say I got this also for 15 or 14 or so. I want to say 14 with shipping. Listen, I never played this one. I know I should play this one. I like my platformer games, but I never took the time to actually play like a Rayman game. But yeah, just from the art style alone, it always seems fantastic. And to me, like a 2D game on the Switch, that's perfect. And I'm not sure like the performance, how that is on the Switch 1 and on the Switch 2. But I would expect like a proper version of this game. Now, I might own like the PlayStation 2 or the PlayStation 4 version. I actually don't know. But if you like your platformers, I got another platformer recommendation as well after this one. But yeah, Rayman Legends. There you go. I know I should not mention it anymore, but right now I see the code in the box at retail stores more instead of like the physical version. And now it's still available for like a decent price if you look for the deal for a physical version. Final time that I will say that. Anyway, oh my god, how do I pronounce his name even? This one is very fun. It is very similar to something like a Donkey Kong Country, like the Tropical Freeze, or just Donkey Kong Country, in like the movement and how it actually plays, like a side-scroller, like platformer game. Yeah, no, this is also code in the box. I started to hesitate a little bit. But yeah, I do see this one a bit more often. This is maybe a bit more like a newer release. Now actually I'm gonna do some digging if this is... Now I really start to think and question myself if this actually had like a code in the box release. Anyway, doesn't matter. I highly recommend this one. It's a very fun platformer game for the Switch 1. And I played it on the Switch 2 and it just seemed like a very good platformer. I like the visuals and also it just ran quite smoothly. So yeah, also price point around 15, like second hand. And I highly recommend it. I did see a ton of like the French version, so it was actually quite tricky to find like an English version of this game. And now I do know though that I still did not say the name of the game. Maybe I try to avoid it. It's a Marsupilami Hoop Adventure. Hoop Adventure. Marsupilami. There you go. That's how you say it. And it's a topical edition, but all the versions are like the topical editions. Am I gonna fact check like the code in the box with that game? Maybe, and you will see like a text over there if I'm correct or not. Now this is a final game. This one is definitely like harder to find, and the price even has gone up like for like the regular retail version if you find like the retail version. Because normally it would be around like 30 or so, like newish, when it was released. But now I see it more often like for 35 or like 40. And even like secondhand, it's quite difficult to get. But also when you find it more often, I saw like the code in box and it's kind of like annoying. So you keep searching for it, you see a good price, but then you see like the text on the box, like code in the box. And it's like, no, I don't want that. I want the physical version. Anyway, if you like horror games, I want to say this one is quite decent. I do have the PlayStation 4 version, or maybe the PlayStation 5 version. Like there's a sequel coming out, or that actually came out. Anyway, it is Tormented Souls. It's more like a Resident Evil-esque type of game with a fixed camera perspectives. You need to solve puzzles, and there are monsters because it's a horror game. But yeah, for this one, I see. Yeah, I already mentioned like the price. Think I want to say I purchased this one with CEX and the voucher, and it was maybe around like 20 or so, not like 40. But yeah, Tormented Souls. If you like horror games, I would recommend like keeping your eye out on like a good deal for this game, and make sure that you don't buy the code in the box version. But yeah, maybe I will find some more games like that are now currently like code in the box instead of the physical version. I could already like name a couple games here, but those are like heavy hitters. For example, like the Octopath Travelers that, you know, it's just kind of annoying when you search for it and you want to buy it, but then you stumble upon like the code in the box version every time. But yeah, Octopath Traveler, like the physical version, I see that less and less with retail releases. Of course, like secondhand, still see it often enough, but also the price is not really going down. So yeah, it's kind of fun to make that list. Like, hey, which games are out now that are solely like available, like new code in the box, and yeah, just making that list and finding out like, hey, some of those cheaper titles. Like, not everything has to be like super expensive, right? With the game collecting, and I do want to say, you know, this is a decent stack. So we have Tormented Souls, that is definitely the most expensive one. Marsupilami, Hoop Adventure, Rayman Legends Definitive Edition, Star Wars Pinball, and Dragon Ball FighterZ. I always thought it was Dragon Ball Fighter Z. That might be due to like Dragon Ball Z, correct? Or do you say Dragon Balls? I don't know. I need to do some research. Anyway, that's gonna do it. Hope you enjoyed this. If I I do have more Switch games that I want to show off, but next time it's gonna be more about some cheap titles. I'm just looking at the stack right now because yeah, I will record this video, that video after this. Yeah, there's at least one game, no, two that I also highly recommend. But that video will come out like next week. So if you don't want to miss out on that, well, you know what to do. Yeah, that's gonna do it. Thanks all for watching, and as always, thanks everybody for the likes and the subscribes in the last couple of weeks. Highly appreciate it. And yeah, next week there's a Switch video, and after that, you will have to see. Thanks all for watching again, and see y'all later. Bye.